Blizzard, let's chat!
What's up guys, Krohun here, bringing you another Blizzard Let's Chat. In this episode, we are going to do the same as we do in every episode. We give some PvP discussion and we do some question and answers afterwards. As for today's topic, we're going to talk about the March 12th hotfixes. And so, I just want to bring to your attention actually what they did. They buffed DKs, they buffed mages, and they fixed some bug with monks, so that doesn't actually matter. They nerfed shadow priests and they nerfed warlocks, and they buffed protection warriors, which isn't really relevant either. So let's just ignore that, right? Let's just say like warlock damage in PvP kind of meh, right? You know, before this nerf, and then they nerfed them anyway, and then you have the mages as well, right? Mages doing amazing in PvP, but they buffed them anyway. And Death Knights, right? Every spec does pretty well, right? Blood, let's say, you know, that doesn't really have so much use, but, you know, every spec of, you know, Frost and Unholy doing pretty damn good right now, and they buffed them anyway. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? Can you guys understand this with me? Because realistically, what they're doing is they're saying, we don't give a flying fuck about PvP again. And, you know, we spent ages trying to teach them, you know, trying to get them to, like, care about PvP, or at least fucking buff something that doesn't affect PvP. So, like, this is something I've said before, and it's like, and I'll say it again, right? They made PvP power. Make PvE power, please, Blizzard. Make PvE power. And, oh, if a class isn't doing well enough, right, whatever, right? Have their set bonus that gives them PvE power, buff it on that specific class, so they'll do more damage in PvE, and it won't even come close to affecting PvP, because it's nothing to do with it. And there you go, you fixed it. And, you know, like, they can balance the whole class around just buff. Oh, it looks like DKs aren't doing enough damage on, you know, on any fight. They're doing less than everyone else, right? Oh, we're just gonna buff their damage a bit, right? Yeah, on specific fights, they would do more or less, agreed. But wouldn't fuck up PvP, would it? No! You wouldn't have any excuse then, would you, Blizzard? No, you would actually have to balance the game somewhat. I cannot understand this. This is just retarded crap. Why would you buff someone that's already doing loads of damage? Right? I gave a talk about this, like, a couple of days ago. Where I was like, you know what, like, Death Knights, they're doing a lot of damage and they're buffing them. I don't understand this. Like, what's Blizzard's logic here? Like, they needed defensives, right? So, do you know what they're, right? Let's say, like, there's a Blizzard employee that watches Blizz Let's Chat. Let's just say there's one, right? I don't think there is, but let's just say there's one. And he watches it and he's like, you know what? We're gonna buff DK damage some more. La like, because that's what it feels like to me. I don't know what to do. Like, the same with mages, like, this is the one thing that actually is good about the change for mages, right? Mages, all three major specs do a lot of damage in PvP, right? But for Frost Bomb, right? So Living Bomb, they just buffed, you know, made it do even more damage. But for Frost Bomb, they was like, you know what? We can't have the moan about Frost Bomb being ridiculously overpowered again. So we're just gonna, drop the damage it does in PvP to 60% instead of 80%. And then obviously, so basically they get a 5% increase in damage instead of a, you know, ridiculous number. And, you know, it was like, yeah, that's about right. But, you know, so it wasn't too bad that they get, but they still buffed it by 5%. Like, it will make, but there, you know, everyone re-rolled to Never Tempest, or more or less everyone re-rolled to Never Tempest. So people that are on Never Tempest, like, we're definitely not going to leave now, because this does even more damage. And we get even, you know, we're going to get procs off something that does ridiculous amounts of damage. Same as Fire with Living Bomb. Not going to leave it because there's so much damage. I don't know. Like, and just, like, Shadow Word Pain, I guess you could have nerfed that a little bit. But Priest was fine. They did nerf them already. And I don't understand why they nerfed that. And then the same goes for Warlocks, right? Corruption, they nerfed it by 25%. They was like, they do too much damage on non-multi-dot target fights. They're ahead of everyone else or whatever, blah, 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 right? You know, they think they should be strong in the multi-dot target fights, and then destruction should be the one you do on single target fights, that sort of idea. But then I can say, yeah, alright, we'll agree with you on that. But then at the same time, like, if you were comparing the two, you'd be like, alright, so you're saying that this one is going to be good for this, and this is going to be good for the other. Don't nerf it, and, you know, fuck them up in PvP. Like, I watched a stream where, like, a top Warlock and a top Shadow Priest, and then I can't remember, I think there was with a Shaman healer, and they just couldn't kill anything. They was outplaying the enemy team like 100%, just floor stomping them, just everywhere, right? they couldn't kill anyone. And that was just it. They just couldn't kill anyone, and it just timed out. And I was like, that was like an epic game and everything, but at the same time, they should have got so many kills. Like, they caught the warrior, like, out of position behind a pillar. Couldn't kill him. Like, he completely out of position. The healer got feared by, I think it was by the Scythene. I think. It might have been an actual invis fear. But, like, you know, to Africa. He was in the middle of Africa. And, seriously, like, no kill. Like, nothing. They couldn't do anything. All full dots and everything on him. And I was just like, this is just madness. I don't understand it. And I'm just probably going to sit on that. I don't understand it. Can't explain why they would do this. And it just makes no sense. You should just be buffing or nerfing specifically for PvP or PvE. Or make PvE power. Or, you know, some stat that only works in PvE and some stat that only works in PvP. And just split them down the middle, please. Please. It's just not right. Oh, I don't know. Oh. Or at least make a spell that you can only have work in PvP and a spell that only works in PvE. And then balance those two to be like the bigger damage number. So sort of like Destrolock's Chaos Bolt. That would be your, you know, like let's say that's for PvP. And then they would have their Chaos Bolt, but a different name for PvE. And it just one does more damage in PvE and the other does more damage in PvP. And then those two spells, it's like, oh, we're not doing enough damage. Just buff that spell up and then they'll be fine. And it's like, oh, PV, not doing enough damage, buff that spell up, doing fine. And nobody could moan then. Alright, now on to the question and answer portion of the video. And today's question comes in from... I need to find the question. This is actually really bad for me. Okay, it comes in from a guy called XI Levertigo. Exile Levertigo, maybe? Let's just say Exile Levertigo, right? And he says that I should make these videos longer, but... the actual question was, what are your thoughts on the 40+ person world boss, Undasta? And my thoughts on Undasta is that there are a lot of people really undergeared going to fight this thing. Like, people in PvP gear and whatever. And there's also a lot of noobs that have played in Fort Sha and killed it several times easily because Sha is really, really easy. And you know, and you've got a lot of raid finder noobs that are also going because they haven't ever actually experienced a raid. And where I used to raid, like, I used to raid in a lot of the time where raids felt harder, and then they nerfed them down and stuff. Like, we would, when I actually took raiding seriously, we was playing like as a progression group, but only at 10 man. And we was killing bosses like pretty early, like, so we'd get like the server first people, but we was just a small group of friends with a few extras, and we were still getting bosses down, so I didn't really care. And just like, you know, we would beat the boss like just round about the time just before they nerfed it the first time, so we was a bit behind the curve then. Like, you know, we weren't doing it day one, but we was doing it like a week after or something, and then like, you know, 2 weeks after they would nerf it. And so, as far as I can see, like, a lot of the raiding right now, if you're doing Raid Finder, that's shit, and a lot of people that are doing Raid Finder are also trying to do these world bosses, and that's where the problem's coming in, where it's like, oh, the new stuff where the Throne and Thunder is out, let's go and do that, and a lot of people are going to that, and then it's making them white, because I've read through the mechanics, I read what it says it does, I was like, that doesn't seem that hard, because it's just a pretty much a normal tank and spank, you know, you have one guy's tank swaps with another guy, that's easy enough. An AoE damage thing, yeah, you can, but there's a timer on it apparently, so you can just pre-heal before it, so you can just, like, you know, hots from all the druids and stuff like that, and you can pre-cast, like, a big heal on your tank and everything like that. I don't know if it affects the tanks at all, actually, though, but, you know, you can just pre-hot and pre-shield everyone, so just they take half the amount of damage, and then you just topple everyone off. You know, you have another thing where it's just like everyone needs to be 10 yards apart at least, because otherwise they get killed by a giant thing that hits for 150k. And yeah, it might jib one person, but if everyone's actually spread out and in the right positions, they're not going to die at all. And I can't actually find any problem with it. Like, the one thing is, someone was saying to me, it's like, you actually, if you have, and you need 4 tanks or something because the 25% damage reduction in armor is too much. And I was like, it doesn't seem like that. You just got to hit a cooldown when you get to your second stack. And then I was like, you know, then you'll be fine, because you will then be able to do both stacks, and then you switch to the other guy, and everyone has like roughly a 2-minute cooldown thing, so it should be about right. And I just couldn't see the big problem with it. And that's what I'm going to stick on. Like, I can't see the big problem with it. I'm not going to kill Undasa myself or anything like that, but realistically, I don't see why anyone would be struggling really hardly with it. Like, I can understand in a way, because, like I said, a lot of people are because normally when you go and do a world boss, you don't go with your guild or anything like that. It's just, oh, the world boss is there, let's go kill it. You know, I got the gear to do it. But some people are going and they haven't got the gear, and a lot of people, more than they was before, are going to try and do it because it's the new area. Ooh, Trial of the Thunder and all this stuff. No, Throne of the Thunder, sorry. I'm getting my stuff mixed up. But you get my idea. Like, I don't think it's that hard. It's just, you know, you need to have a certain amount of health to go there. So you need to actually have some gear. And you need to do thing. And you need to actually have gear. Like, gear is an actual important part of this world boss, rather than we're going to casually walk up and smash some buttons like shies. And I'll leave you there. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in to krohunmail@gmail.com or leave them in the comment section. Or you can message me on Twitter @Nightleaf, and I will tell you that I'm going to put it in a video, or I might not and just make the video anyway. I haven't replied to this comment. I feel kind of bad now, but, you know, you say you're going to post it in the video, and then, voila, the video comes out, and you will see your question. Have I got anything else to say to you? I don't believe I do, so I will leave you here. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye!